channel. This is my very first ASMR video. Let's start with this right here. These are 250 toothpicks. So now that I've made a bit of a mess, I think it's time I clean it up. And while I'm cleaning up, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I started this channel. I don't really get the ASMR tingles, if I'm being completely honest. I've tried lots of different triggers, tried lots of different artists, but I just can't seem to get them. I mean, it's not a big deal, I suppose. But it's something I've always been very interested in. But even though ASMR never gave me tingles per se, I still find it incredibly relaxing. Especially when people do simple, repetitive tasks. I have a hard time sleeping, and I suffer from anxiety sometimes. And the benefit of ASMR is simply being able to get me out of my head, if you will. Just being able to take my mind off of everything that was happening and focus on something else. I owe quite a lot to ASMR. It's helped me through many very, very stressful times in my life. But again, I don't get the tingles. But even still, if I can help one other person like ASMR has helped me, I think it'd be worthwhile. Oops. Let's get these all centered again. There we go. guess I should probably talk about this channel now. Oops. What is my goal, I guess? Well, in real life, I'm a writer. Not really a successful writer, but I love to write. I love to tell stories. I love to take people away to somewhere different, somewhere interesting. I've always loved stories. I've always loved telling stories. I've always loved writing stories. I've always loved experiencing stories, be it movies or books or audiobooks or even just campfire stories. And I've told them for quite a while. I've told them to friends, I've told them to people on the internet, but I've never had a personal medium like this before, where I could maybe write a story and then tell it directly to my audience. And I find that very, very interesting. It's taken me quite a while to build up the courage to do this, and even longer to set up a space. Fortunately, I had the equipment handy. I just needed the time and the patience and to find a time of day when there wasn't too much noise. But I find everything sort of lining up. I guess what I'm trying to put into words is I want my channel to be a place where people with depression, anxiety, insomnia, people like me, can come off the real world, even for just a bit. Channels like Goodnight Moon and Isabel Imagination and ASMR Mood have had such an incredible impact on my life. Their role plays, their stories, their ability to, even for just a moment, make me feel like a different person. Take me out of the situation I'm in right now and put me somewhere else. And the ability to help me sleep is something that I cannot express just how grateful I'm for where I am. It's no excuse, but it is very, very late at night. As far as the content I want to make, I'm still not 100% sure. I'm definitely not opposed to traditional ASMR triggers like tapping or shaving cream or mouth sounds, things like that, but I find myself really drawn to the role plays, to the stories, to the guided meditations, things like that, just to help me stay centered. Come on. There we go. I had this idea, this exact idea, this morning. I thought about all of my favorite ASMR videos and how they all contained soft talking and a simple, repetitive task with tiny, tiny little sounds. And I think I nailed it. I can tell immediately that this actually interesting. I wonder if this will help me sleep. Now that I've opened the door, I'm curious. Will I be able to listen to my own ASMR? I suspect not. But that's okay. I'm not making this channel for me. wooden sounds are so nice. They're oddly sharp, no pun intended, but I am surprised I haven't seen more toothpick ASMRs. I usually find myself drawn to the more kind of thicker shaving cream, gum, slime, those kind of sounds. I love the stretch, the foam, the kind of crackle of the bubbles, but I do like wooden sounds too. Scratching, gentle tweezer noises. And I also love soundscapes too. It's one of the reasons I named my channel Soundscape Theater. Rain, snowstorms, even inner city, like car horns and people talking and stuff like that. I find it endlessly relaxing for some reason. I live in a city, but I like going to sleep to real city noises. I live in a very quiet neighborhood. I find triggers are very interesting. What people like and things like that. A good friend of mine, she kind of was my introduction to ASMR. She absolutely loves eating sounds. And I have a hard time with them. Except marshmallows for some reason. I love the sound of marshmallows. Such an interesting way ASMR works. How it affects the ears and the mind. It's just fascinating. The sound of water, like liquid sounds, water being poured from one container to another, just absolutely drives me insane. But some people love it. Another interesting thing is the fascination with darker types of ASMR. The kidnapping role plays and the live dissection role plays. It's not a live dissection, is it? I think it's a vivisection when it's live. I might be wrong though. Regardless, it's fascinating. Somebody who enjoys that thought, is it just because it's escapism? Do they just want to feel what it's like, or is it something else? I am deeply afraid for the future of ASMR. It seems to be going very sexual and frankly quite awkward. But I understand. There's not a lot of intimacy anymore, especially in this day and age. People try to find it wherever they can. Do I think it should be on YouTube? Well, that's a discussion for another day, but endlessly interesting nonetheless. I need to buy a set of stereo mics. A matched pair. That would be awesome. The ability to change the side from one ear to the other is so valuable. I was looking very intently at buying an ear mic, a 3DO style mic, and my God, I could buy 2 Austrian-made precision mics for the cost of a 3DO Pro. I'm pretty handy. I wonder if I could build a microphone like that. An ear mic, I mean, with the silicone ears and a set of high-precision pencil condensers or something like that. That'd be very interesting. Oh well, something to think about. Again, I don't really have any plans for this channel, other than make some content every now and again. Let's try the other side. I don't know if my mic is precise enough to care which side, but we'll see. That and I'm right-handed. Yeah, this was a horrible idea. Well, if my channel decides to take off, and I'm not exactly hopeful. Again, my only goal is to help even 1 or 2 people, but if for some magic I was able to make a little bit of money off this, I would love to build my own ear mic from scratch. Some people might find that pretty daunting, but I'm actually pretty good with electronics. You can't see it, but right now, this whole set is being illuminated with an LED light I made. I say I made it. I stuck some 12-volt LED strip to a piece of plastic and then hung it up, but let's just pretend I made it. Oops. Something else that I would love is the community. Or a community, I suppose, is more accurate. If people like my work and they could comment on it, tell me what to do, interact, even help me write stories and give me direction. If you're watching this and you're interested, give me an idea. Leave me a comment, send me a personal message, whatever you want. Chances are I'll do it. This is the very first step in what I'm hoping will be a very interesting hobby. Something else I'm on the fence about is mouth sounds. Every now and again I find one that I just absolutely love. Popomo makes just incredible videos. Very consistent and amazing, but again, I'm still not sure if I like them. Again, it's a brave new world right now for me. The first step of many. I can hear in these headphones a lot of bumping. I'll need to solve that problem next time I record. Keep my headphones from hitting the mic stand. Also, reducing the background noise. I'm afraid that's going to be my constant irritation. Every time I record, I'm going to have to make sure to turn off the fridge, shut down the heaters, make sure the air conditioning isn't running upstairs. It's going to be a whole ordeal, I'm afraid. But that's okay. I'm willing to make this work. Getting pretty flow. Something else I find myself on the fence about is video length. Oops, that should be my first question. What is the ideal ASMR video length? I'd say somewhere in between 30 minutes and an hour. 10 minutes is too short, and 10 hours is way too long. But, again, this is a brave new world for me. Thinking back on it, that's probably a really horrible expression for what I'm trying to accomplish. That book was very, very distressing, to say the least, but that's neither here nor there. Getting really close now. Feels almost like I just started. Suppose the first thing I should do is actually write a script of some sort. Maybe not a script, maybe just bullet points. For my first video, I'd like to talk about a few very dear subjects to me. Talk about some things that are quite near and dear to my heart. And things that can help people like me, who are maybe a bit younger and a little less experienced, deal with some of the stresses of everyday life. I wouldn't consider myself old, not by any means, but I've definitely lived through a fair bit of turmoil, let's just say. It's going to be very interesting to see what people gravitate to. And right on cue, the furnace fires up. I'm afraid there's just no winning in the battle of sound. But that's okay. We're nearly done. Now that we're approaching the last few, I would like to just say I appreciate everyone who's watched this video. If you would like to subscribe, you're more than welcome to, but I definitely don't want to sound like I'm pressuring people. At this time in YouTube's history, it feels like buying a ticket for the Titanic while it's half underwater, but that's okay. I find that everything with YouTube will probably work itself out and find some nice, equitable solution, but for right now, if you enjoyed what you saw, I'd suggest you subscribe and also click the bell for notifications. I don't have a Twitter or a Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. Maybe at some point I will, but for right now, I'm just going to start simple. I've had a lot of projects fall through, some of them on YouTube and other projects in real life, but it's very difficult to start something new. One last one. Well, that didn't feel like 250 at all. I hope I didn't bore you too much. Have a great rest of your day. Or have a good night. Wherever you are right now. I hope you're doing well. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.